So what did you guys have for breakfast this morning?
This morning, I had scrambled eggs. I had an English muffin with jam. And
What kind of jam?
strawberry jam. And I had what you guys call bacon. I would call huge chunks of ham.
I had some toast, 2 toasts, double toast,
What kind of toast?
bread toast. I had some bread toast. Hold on, no, I'm getting the impression that we've eaten breakfast wrong. Is there a type of breakfast I'm supposed to have? Oh, see, no, so there must be a specific thing. Can you please say it into the microphone?
So, I'm from New York, and I just wondered if anyone...
Oh. Well, listen, hold on. There's something that we're supposed to be eating. Hang on a second. And Omega Not knows.
Yeah. Oh, that's my favorite.
Vegemite. Okay. This is that fluid, right? This is that sort of tangy fluid? Oh, it's hard. Okay, it's congealed.
It's salty, right?
It's a trap, get an axe.
Yeah.
Okay. Understood.
Alright.
Oh yeah, she says that if it helps, it's made from yeast, and that does not help. No.
Hi guys. Sorry, that's very loud. First of all, I just sort of want to say, you might have heard this before, but we in Australia, we live in a really lucky country in a lot of ways. We're, first world country, we're really well off. When it comes to gaming though, in some ways, as a country, we're a little bit isolated, it can feel like.
You're a little bit isolated in absolutely every way.
Yeah, exactly.
That's been my experience.
With games, we get them later sometimes.
Oh, absolutely.
They're a lot more expensive.
No, I got educated on my way over here, and I've been educated several times by Australians once I arrived. They were at the airport telling me in this situation.
And so PAX, it was one of those things, going to your site and seeing all the stuff that goes up with PATV and just reading about and stuff. It's one of those things I personally wanted to do forever and felt like it was so far, far away, it had to be on my bucket list, basically.
We are doing it right now.
That's exactly what I'm saying. I just want to thank you guys so much for so much to us.
It's absolutely no problem. I mean, it's incredibly heartwarming to hear that, but I wanted to do it. So it'd be like if I ate a sandwich and you said, thank you. Oh, I saw that sandwich. I hope someone will eat it. You're eating it now. Soon it will be gone. This is something I've been thinking about for a long time. No, we are overjoyed to be here. I mean, PAX Australia probably won't always be at this time of year, but we wanted to plant a flag and say that this is an actual PAX. We're doing PAX here. Let's keep learning. This is 1.0. Let's keep figuring it out. But this is a place that PAX happens.
Just wanted to congratulate you guys on Script Search, which I thought was really, really fun. What is sort of like, when you guys first talked about it, I think on the DLC podcast or whatever it was, sort of brought up as more of a joke than anything.
Yeah.
So what was it?
A lot of the things that we do start off as a joke.
And many of them remain jokes throughout.
And so when you guys eventually got around to actually making it, what was it that you sort of decided you wanted to get out of it? And then do you think you got that out of it in the end, or did it turn to something else? Because I thought it
absolutely turned into something else. I mean, I think initially going into it, the idea was to create a reality show, which is something that I definitely am a fan of, and I know Jerry likes as well. But
yeah,
it was to put, let's put 7 people in a house and find out what happened, right? We wanted to do that. And we wanted to get a cartoonist out of it, but once we started actually filming the show, it changed, and it wasn't a joke anymore. It wasn't funny. I mean, these kids, like, this was their dream, and we had it in our hands. And I don't think that when we started the show, we were taking it as seriously as we were by the end. Absolutely not. Like, there was a switch that got flipped early on where we realized how important the show was.
Well, yeah, there's always a kind of, and I think that generally speaking, when reality shows are filmed, there's a story director, right? It's a person who sort of plucks these like themes out of the noise of human interactions, right? So it might not actually feel like that on the ground, but it became pretty clear that we had created something that we had not really intended to. And it's supposed to get real for them.
It got real for us.
It got real for us instead.
Yeah.
So it was definitely an interesting thing, and I'm glad that you enjoyed the show that resulted from that.
It's just interesting to see the result now with like Abby putting a Kickstarter on.
Oh
doing so
yeah.
well and stuff like
It's
that.
was it 120,000 something like that?
Yeah, something ridiculous like that. So that's all thanks to you guys.
Nuts.
Thanks, thank you.
Thank you.
I'd also like to thank you for coming out to Australia. It's really great that you got over that fight you had where you weren't talking to each other.
It's all good. We patched it over.
It's the only way that I can imagine that this tweet resulted from CW Gabriel. Just saw at Tycho at Disneyland. We planned the same vacation without knowing it. The same place, same dates, even same hotel. # crazy. You
How did
didn't
that happen?
talk about it? Yeah. What the hell?
We really don't speak to each other or interact.
Well, in a non-script way. Certainly,
we make
creating
it
the
con-
script requires a modicum of conversation.
People always say like, oh my god, you guys have worked together for 15 or 20 years. Like, how do you stay friends? We're not friends. That's why we're still working together after 20 years. Like,
If we were friends, the things that he told me would be very hurtful.
oh yeah, the things I tell him on a daily basis. No, we don't see each other outside of the office usually. We plan vacations completely separately.
And then we saw each other, and it was weird.
It was really weird. I didn't know if I should go say hi.
We just sort of like, we both had our sunglasses on and our families, but we had like an arm out to keep them separate.
And it was like, well, I'm going to go back to my hotel. Well, I'm going to go back to my hotel. We started walking the same way.
It was spooky.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
Hey guys.
Hey.
Boy, I got to join my chorus of the thanks. It's been 2 years since I took a weekend out of my honeymoon to come to PAX Prime. So thanks. To get to the question, there's 4 panels across this weekend about being a gamer parent. As gamer parents yourselves, are they, I know that you've said something in your posts about pushing dad buttons and stuff like that.
Oh,
But,
yeah.
Tell us.
That was my
about-
son right there, actually.
Yeah. Tell us a little bit about how you feel about the industry sort of growing up and having more games about being a parent.
More games about being a parent. Yeah, I mean the dad buttons was my post. I definitely tend to avoid things that I know are just going to make me sad.
Well, no, I want you to imagine that he is a boss. Like a boss monster, right? And that is the weak point,
Yeah.
right? It's like they can get you so bad. And
It's
they don't
so
even
easy
They
to
don't
get
even have to work for it. It's like,
Yeah.
see this kid? They got hurt.
And then I'm weeping. You know, like
Oh, you could have done something, but you didn't do anything.
Yeah, I had decided that I was going to finally try to play
Walking Dead.
Walking Dead on the flight down here because I had 17 uninterrupted hours, and I started playing it, and I found a little girl, and she didn't have any parents, and I closed it.
She was all alone in her treehouse.
Yeah, I can't do that, especially as I'm flying 8,000 miles away from my boys. Like it was not the right time. But no, I did play Last of Us, and I found, I'm not ashamed to admit that I was crying at the end of that, absolutely. I mean,
I was crying at the beginning of that.
it ends, no spoilers, but it ends in a very dad way. It ends in the way that I would have ended it had I been in Joel's position, and I think that a lot of dads could see that was the way that they would have ended it too. And it was really powerful.
Yeah, I think that as the stories get a little bit more human and a little bit less concerned with xenomorphs attacking Mars or whatever, I think that what happens is that people are telling personal stories. And so those stories are coming out of the crop of people that are making those games.
And gamers are growing up in general, right? I mean, now being a parent is something that a lot of us can relate to. And so games about that make sense, where they might not have 10 or 15 years ago.
Thanks very much, guys.
Yeah.
Pleasure.
My question is for Mike.
Okay.
Which of the strip search artists would you choose to invite to your birthday? And which one would you choose to die?
You brought this on yourself.
But unlike the strip searchers, I will answer your question.
I mean, it doesn't have to be, traumatic death. It could be that...
No, it does.
That's even better then.
Yeah. I would absolutely probably choose at this point right now Tavis to come to my birthday party. He's just awesome. And I think that I would probably choose Erica Moen to die. And I'm not going to tell you why, but she knows.
Yeah, or how. Yes.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
First off, I want to say thank you so much, like everyone else. I had a moment during the keynote when Ron Gilbert was talking about Monkey Island, and I just had this second row when a 7-year-old playing that, I could never imagine that one day I'd be sitting in a room listening to him talk about making that, so that was amazing.
I was blown away by
Yeah,
that.
it was a great speech.
That was incredible.
I was just sitting there just going, oh my god, I played that as a 7-year-old, I'd never imagined this. But secondly, my question was taken by the guy in front of me. So,
And you didn't have time to think of another question?
no, I was on the spot.
Here, do you want to wait? We'll give you a minute. We're going to go over here.
I was just going to say, I'm told that if I'm at PAX and I see you guys, I should ask for a pin. So I thought maybe I could just sort of do that.
That's how it is.
You, and nobody else gets this. You got it. You were the first one. I'm going to go get our pins. You answer that question.
Okay. What's going on?
So when you
Pika and so forth and so on.
when you were coming to Australia, what plans did you make to deal with drop bears, if any?
See, I know all about your drop bears. Alright? I know all about it. I know 100% of the drop bear information. I was surprised to learn that there is an official page from the Australian government about drop bears. So that, and I was talking to the Meganauts before, like that extends Australian drop bear trolling like to a global level. Like, so you have to understand.
So government is in on it?
Yeah, at the highest levels, right? But I mean, so this is Jesus.
I'm always on the lookout for drop bears. So you're not vigilant. So I was prepared.
You understand? So we have had Australian enforcers at the PAX shows for a while, and it was years ago that they started talking to me about these drop bears and their savagery, their claws, obviously their teeth, and it wasn't. I mean, and I believed it for years.
Why wouldn't you?
Yeah, why wouldn't I? Because someone told me it was true about a dangerous thing, and I'm like, listen, yeah, thanks, man. That's good advice. But I mean, what I'm trying to figure out is that if I can continue this, if I can bring this drop bear knowledge to the world, do I become an honorary Australian? Like, how does it work?
You pass citizenship.
There we go. Yeah, it's automatic. I'll tell them in customs. I'll get to work on it.
Thank you, Phoebe.
Thanks.
That's good.
airports a lot. It's a recorder, and I've got tons of questions, and hopefully I can come back and come around and ask you later. If you're...
We'll be here for a few days.
Awesome. But the question I have to ask as part of what I'm doing is if you guys were to choose a minority that you represented in gaming or nerd culture, and some examples that people have used are being female, parents, gay, from country towns, cosplayers, first-person...
Country towns? Is that a thing?
Hey, I'm from 600 k's in the middle of bumfuck nowhere. That's where I am. I'm from Armidale in New South Wales. It took me 2 days to get here.
Riding a beast of some kind?
Second.
Riding a beast of some kind?
See, that's the kind of stereotyping that his people have to put up with. For him.
If you were to choose a minority that you're part of other than a gamer, what would it be, and what do you see as the challenges for that minority in the gaming community?
I think the thing that makes it difficult is that I'm not. Like, I would have to think about this for a while. Let me see. I'm trying to think about all the things that are interesting about me. I'm an agoraphobe.
Not a lot.
You can play the parent card. Lots of people have.
I'm an ex-vegetarian. So sometimes I get it from both sides. You know what I mean? Like, I'm a quitter to these guys, and then there was a period of weakness for them. I don't know. Are you frightened?
My life is really great. I got
Do you want me to come back in Q&A too and ask again?
Give us some time.
Let me chew on that one. That might take a while.
I'll be back for number 2.
Okay, hopefully I'll have a different answer.
All right, cool. Thank you very much.
Hello, I'm from Perth, and there's a small contingent of Perth people here. I've been reading the comic for 20 years, a long time fan, and it's a great pleasure for me to see you down under.
We're glad to be here.
So I wanted to ask how Penny Arcade started.
Oh, we would love to tell
that story.
Indeed.
We're uniquely qualified to tell that story.
Fire away.
Want me to start?
Well, you started it, right?
I did, like 10 minutes before you. So, out of high school, Jerry and I were friends who were rooming together, and we made comic strips a lot, comic books.
We made comics about bipedal walruses.
Serious stuff. Like superhero comics and stuff like that. And our goal at the time was to become comic book creators. And that wasn't going well because we spent all of our time playing video games. Eventually...
Hold on, this will be ironic later.
Yeah. Just remember that.
File that one away.
I saw an advertisement in a magazine called Next Generation Magazine, which I don't know if you guys had down here, but it was, at the time, a really popular gaming magazine.
They're more of an edge clan, I think.
Yeah. And they were looking for a cartoonist to make comics about games, and they wanted you to submit your work. And at that point, I thought, why did I not ever think about that? Like, of course, comics about games. So I made, I think, 3 or 4 comic strips. I approached Jerry, and I showed him, and
I rewrote those.
He jumped on my bandwagon, my coattails, and he made a couple, and we submitted them, and we never heard back. Kept bothering them and saying, hey, did you get our submission? They never mailed us back. Eventually, they just mailed and said, please don't contact us anymore.
A restraining order.
Yeah, you did not win, leave us alone. But we had all these comic strips, and we thought other people, gamers specifically, would like to see them. At the time, there was nothing like LiveJournal or Tumblr, like, you couldn't just have your own website like that.
The term blog, I don't even think had been invented.
No, I don't think so.
No.
And so what we did is we sent those comics out to some of our favorite gaming websites at the time, like Blues News, Telefrag, Quake World,
Looney Games.
And Looney Games is the only one that actually responded. And Jason Bergman, he said, yeah, I'll run your comics. And he did. Every Monday he put up a comic. Eventually he ran out of comics, contacted us and said, hey, I need another strip for Monday. And
Okay, not our intention.
we had made like 7 and then we thought that was it, but we didn't want to be rude.
Right, that was our OVRA, right? 7 comics.
And I was like, man, this guy wants another strip. By Monday, we have to keep doing this now. And so we did. We kept making them every Monday because Jason told us to.
And then eventually we decided that we were comfortable with making 2 comics every 7 days. And then ultimately we went to 3, and then we stopped there. We felt like that was enough work.
Yeah, at some point in the early months of Penny Arcade, I think there was a discussion between us and Jason about the use of the F word and how it wasn't funny, and we disagreed strongly with that. And it was at that point that we sort of left and used our rudimentary HTML skills to build pennyarcade.com, and that's where we've been ever since.
So, first of all, I just want to hope that everyone at Penny Arcade's having a good time in Melbourne. Hope you're enjoying it.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
great. Good. I just wanted to ask, based on your experience with playing games coming out of Australia and also your experience with the culture in Australia, do you feel like there's anything particularly unique to it?
To Australian culture?
Yeah, to Australian gaming culture.
I've only been here a couple of days. I'm hoping to learn more about your people.
We are a kind species.
we have a kind of shark tank that I will enter into for protection. No, I mean, everyone that we have talked to so far has been so incredible. I guess I would say that we're not used to nice people.
Yeah,
we don't actually understand that part.
Like when you guys come to the U.S., does everyone seem really rude?
Yes! Exactly!
I don't understand why everyone is so damn nice here. Like, I started to think that they were playing a joke on me.
Yeah, this is gonna freak him out.
Yeah.
Hello, hi, how are you?
I'm helping you today.
And if you were lost and you asked someone to tell you, they don't stab you.
Don't tell me. No,
Not even once, not even like a little stab.
I asked a woman, like, where I could catch a tram, and she told me, and I was like, whoa. Are you trying to steal my identity? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, where are you staying in Melbourne?
Yeah.
Right.
You just want my social security number.
They want to open up credit cards in our name. But they don't actually. So that's what we've been trying to figure out. We've been trying to figure out if, like, American culture is like a bizarre Darwinian social experiment.
Well,
and it weaponizes people and turns them into monsters?
I was able to find an EB Games. I needed a charger. And I went in, and this guy there was super friendly, wanted to help me.
Hold on a second, did he help you find the item you wanted?
Yes. Yes. And he didn't even sigh or roll his eyes. And at that point, I had enough. And I was like, why are you so nice? And he told me that the sun here bakes your brains. Yeah,
so anyway, it's scientific fact. So it's thus far it's been culture shock, but there's been no actual electricity, right? It's just been very interesting, and people have been so welcoming. I mean, as you saw at the beginning of the Q&A, like, people are so surprised when you bring something to Australia, or when you come to Australia.
well, let's be fair, it's a huge pain in the ass to get here.
But at the same time, you make it worthwhile.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it exists. It's a thing. Yes, exactly. It's a landmass. Yes. Oh, but thank you.
Yeah.
Hi guys.
Hi.
I've been reading you since about 2002, and I think that the course you've charted since then has just been astonishing. The question I wanted to ask though was that I've noticed that you don't actually really look very much like your characters.
What?
Have you
Are you calling me a bad artist?
Have you
All right, we found the mean Australian.
Yeah. I worked really hard.
I haven't gotten to the question yet.
Oh,
Have you or will you consider having maybe some big wigs made and doing some cosplay as your characters, maybe to help reduce the confusion?
That would be very
That would
funny.
be funny to cosplay as our, yeah.
I would need like platform shoes. Like this isn't. That's not
Yeah,
gonna,
in the strip, Tycho's taller.
that's not gonna happen.
Yeah.
That's gonna be tough. We can work on it though. We're on it. Thank you.
Actually, at PAX East last year, you dressed up as the fruit friend.
I did, but it was weird because people would ask serious questions, like heartwarming questions, and then I would answer them from inside this sex robot.
Right.
So that complicated my life.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
What's up?
Hey, I got a quick question. Who designed these shirts? These like retro.
Those are Erica's, I
Erica
think.
Statson. Erica, stand up. Her husband, Levin, is even better. Levin, stand up.
Did you see the PAX Australia one with the huge spider and the tank? Yeah,
That's awesome. That's
hot. It was hot shit.
Now, as an American, I guess I gotta be not polite. Oh, sorry. What would be the swear word for this PAX?
Your kids are right there.
Well, I thought we were all over 18. You mean?
Oh, yeah. No,
Hold on a second. Are you ready? Yeah. Vegemite. Is this sufficient? Okay. Sorry, Mom.
That's what you get for bringing your mom here.
That's on me, yeah.
I kind of wish I had a better question. What's your plans for the next script search?
You know what? It actually, whether or not there is a next strip search is very dependent on how well the DVD sells.
No, that sounds manipulative, but the reality is that making that show costed way more than we thought.
Yeah, that was a crazy expensive show.
I know it doesn't look like it.
Yeah.
I know it looks like we're just messing around, but all those people had to be flown in. It was crazy.
Yeah. But I think that the DVD will do super well. So I'm very confident there will be a next season.
Yeah, there's a ton of extra stuff. Because the theme for the show is sort of serious, right? But filming the show was actually not very serious.
Yeah.
And so there's a lot of video and stuff that we have that sort of surrounds the making of the show that I think will make watching it a lot more fun. People do Kickstarter things on occasion. I've heard that.
Hi.
Hi.
How's it going?
Good. Really good.
My question is in regards to the first Kickstarter.
Sure. Okay.
I really like that video that you did of you running around.
Oh, robbing our employees' offices?
Yeah, like chasing the ducks and.
Oh, yeah, that's a
lie. My question is, now that you've got a set of Google Glass, is there any plans on making any proof for the reward tier?
No, I know what you're thinking. No.
No?
No, my wife has stated that Google Glass is not allowed anywhere near the boudoir. I was like, oh, but they'll be turned off. And she's like, no.
Alright, what about...
No, I'll just use it to look up recipes or something.
Would you compromise a video of you thinking about me having sex?
I didn't hear the question.
He's like, will you compromise a video of just you thinking about him? Here, you can just do that right now.
I'll just think about you right now. What's your name?
Victor.
Hi guys, it's really great to see you here in Australia. You've saved us all very expensive plane tickets.
It's our pleasure.
I backed I kicked all the starts and started all the kicks.
Each kick was started.
Yeah, thoroughly kicked. Much to the detriment of my wallet. And I was listening to the podcast, and I think it was in one of the latest ones you were talking about the guy that got arrested for posting stupid shit on Facebook.
Yeah. Which is apparently a crime.
Yeah, you mentioned something happened on alt.quake.
Oh.
Well, what happened on alt.quake?
Listen, I don't...
We were just saying that as young men, anonymous young men,
online
and used yeah, I mean, yeah, we said horrible, horrible things to people who liked Quake. When the best game at the time was obviously Duke Nukem 3D.
That's fair.
Due in part to its incredible build engine tools and small file size for user-made levels. This is something that some people will never understand.
And who uses a mouse to look around?
It's weird. Yeah, you do not, I mean, how is that going to catch on? Using a mouse to look around a 3D environment.
That's not going to happen.
It was a fad, they tried it, didn't work out.
You tried it, didn't work out, and we moved on. Voxels, also great.
Thank you.
G'day.
Hey there.
We don't always talk like that. You kind of touched on this just a moment ago, but I'd just like to ask, what did Penny Arcade mean to you guys way back then? And what does the Penny Arcade empire now mean for you?
That's a
It's a great question. Do you have a 3-day badge?
Yes.
Do you want to be an Omega Knot? Say yes.
Yes, yes,
yes. Okay, say yes. Travis, can you fix this?
Gentleman.
Yeah, when you're done,
When you're
come
done.
talk to him.
Wave your hand, Travis.
Congratulations.
I would say that for me back then, it was definitely something that I had to do. I mean, I knew that I wanted to be a cartoonist since I was in the 5th grade. And I ended up selling computers at Circuit City, which, you know...
It's unlike cartooning.
It was a horrible job. I was horrible at it. But I could come home at night after a horrible shift and make comic strips. Like, Penny Arcade was something that I needed to do to stay sane.
Yeah. For me, I felt very strongly that if we did not have a shared creative endeavor, that we wouldn't spend a lot of time together.
No.
It's true. We have a fundamentally aggressive adversarial relationship. We challenge each other constantly. And we needed a context where we could challenge each other and have shared work be the result. I can't look at him right now.
Manly tears being shed?
No.
So what does it mean now?
As far as what it means now, well, now it's very different. I mean, now there's, 15 employees, 15 employees that all work at this thing called Penny Arcade, like, all making incredible work. Like, it's so much bigger than it was just, when it was just the two of us. Like, now it's something that, back then it was something that I felt like we made, and now it's something that I'm just, like, super proud to be a part of. Like, all this great work that all these other people and I are doing.
Somehow it's like external or something. Like
Yeah.
It's something that we're in, even though ostensibly we've made it.
Yeah, like, Erica doing the shirt, or, any of the cool stuff that comes out of Penny Arcade, I look at it and I'm proud of it in a way that, is maybe not fair. Like, I had nothing to do with it, but I'm just happy to be a part of all this stuff. So.
Yes.
Yeah, we had an Omega Knot not show up, so.
Their cowardice is your game.
Alright, over here.
G'day guys. I know that the Child's Play session tomorrow, looking forward to it. Any chance of an impromptu Child's Play auction dinner? Because I reckon we could probably fill it.
Is Jamie here? My guess is no.
But Jamie and Kristen will both be at the panel. Just bring it up then, and then we won't have to worry about it.
Yeah.
And also one more, I was lining up and I saw Robert Koo out there, mate, looking after us. He was over there making sure people had seats. Where the hell would you be without that guy?
Not here, no. I mean, the reality is that before we met Robert, things were pretty dark. We had lost our hosting and any money that we had coming in from this company called eFront after they went out of business. And so we were in a position where we had quit our jobs, because that was smart. And we had quit our jobs, we had no money coming in, and we didn't know what to do. And I called Jerry, and I said, we should probably quit, right? Like, this is when you stop. We have to go get jobs again. And it just so happened at that day, Amazon released a program called the Amazon Honor System.
It's a microtransaction thing, like PayPal, right?
But it was the very first of its kind. And you could put a little widget on your website and people could just donate to you and say, hey, I appreciate the work you're doing. And so we got together and we added up our bills and we said, listen, we need like a couple $1,000s.
Yeah, it was $1,500 a piece.
Yeah.
For rent where we were living and groceries.
This is what we asked our readers for a month, and if you guys can pay that, then we'll keep making Penny Arcade. And you guys supported us for a year that way. I mean, we lived off of the generosity of Penny Arcade readers for over a year. And it was right after that we met Robert. He was actually able to turn what was essentially us panhandling into a business, right? I mean, we had readers, we had millions of readers, but we didn't actually know what to do with that. You know, it takes a very special person to understand how to turn that into making a living, like making a business.
We're not ambitious like that. I mean, we want to make comics and we want to meet people and we want to think about abstract things, but the business aspects of it.
But the abstract ideas, like unless you have somebody who can make them a reality, you know, it's one thing for me to go, oh man, we should have a convention.
Yeah, or a reality show.
Or a reality show. Wouldn't that be cool? Like, and that's as far as it would go. But we have surrounded ourselves with this team of people who can say...
with competent people.
Yeah, actually intelligent people who can take that and go, oh, that is a cool idea. Let's make that. We can do that. So, yeah, a ton of credit goes to everybody else at Penny Arcade.
Look, big fan of Penny Arcade, obviously. Probably wouldn't be here otherwise. Took me a while to get into the series, but when I started watching it, it was fantastic. It was
I'm glad they're here filming this, I think.
There it is right there.
Think about that. That's a complicated idea.
This next one's going to be great. So, sort of sped through the first season. I got the second season, the box with all the signatures, a little smudged, to be honest.
Probably, yeah. He sweats.
Like, I'm greasy. I feel like I paid for that. They took my money and then gave me like...
I took your money and I smudged it with the money.
But my question is, you always have to put so much effort into PAX and it leaves you completely wrecked. Being in Australia and not even being able to be here the whole time to plan it out and then just kind of having to rock up, does that leave you more stressed? Like, does that present a whole new range of problems which make this one a lot harder than just doing them in America?
I was definitely more stressed about coming down here. At least before I got down here, I tend to I like to worry about things ahead of time.
That's my pre-worry.
Yeah, I have a pre-worry phase. It's very robust. You know, yeah, going to another country that I've never been to. And it's the same thing that happened with the very first PAX East. It's like, okay, what if we take PAX there and it just doesn't work, or people don't show up, or it's just all these things that I like to worry about. So yeah, I was definitely more nervous. But once I got here and saw the event space, and it just felt like PAX, I stopped worrying. Especially once I saw the main theater filling up. I was still a little jittery, but once I saw everyone come in and sit down, I was like, oh, it's PAX. Here we go.
I brought a 3-year-old and a 7-year-old, so I'm still terrified.
Well, thank you, Jerry. I'm going to be at the back there. If you want to sign that.
Hi.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers, mate.
Firstly, gosh, don't know quite how to go about that. You know, nice to meet you, Sans Handshake. And you know, today's my birthday. Oh, really?
Part. We don't have the hooray suffix. That was very surprising. And also, I think that singing your name in your birthday song is the saddest thing. You don't have to hold that in here, but I was like, wow.
That is, yeah, bad.
A little bit of tears on the inside.
Yeah. How can we help?
Oh, yeah. Well, I think you just did. Yeah, so, you know, thank you for, you know, my party, and I hope everyone has a good time.
I feel bad I didn't get you anything.
You got him a convention.
Yeah.
That he has to pay for. Never mind, that
really
doesn't work.
good present, like, yeah, still. So, yeah, that was pretty much it.
Is that it?
You know, if forced, I have a bit of a three-parter, sort of, you know, what flavour's the cake, when do I get one present, and, you know, can you use your demigod influence to, you know, get me some swag from the booths?
You know what would be great? Like, if you go to Disneyland, and it's your birthday, they give you a little button that says, hey, it's my birthday, and you'll get, like, special things. We should do that at PAX. Like, we should have a thing where you can get a, like a first-time PAX attendee button.
Well, because we know all of their birthdays from NSA data collection.
Right. Thanks, Obama.
So, yeah,
that's a great idea. That's actually a really good idea. Like, we'll make badges that you can wear. So if it's your birthday, you can go up to booths and be like, it's my birthday, give me something.
Give me a video card, or, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
No, seriously though, just great to be here. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hey guys.
Hey.
Mandatory welcome and thank you.
Glad to be here.
This is already shaping up to be the greatest week/weekend of my life. Actually, proposed to my girlfriend last night as well.
How did it go?
So yeah, I'm having a great time. I have previously, as most people had darker times. I've gone through dark periods, and I've always been a Penny Arcade
It's the
reader.
hero's journey.
Exactly. You know, it's the So basically, I've always been a Penny Arcade reader, but when I was going through a really dark phase, I mean, the first season of PATV came out, which was incredible, and I used to listen to the podcasts a lot. I sort of came to them late. I didn't discover them at the time, so you guys were talking about games.
We just put them all back up if you want to catch up.
Yeah, I've got them all stacked and ready. But it's the kind of thing where once I listened to them a lot, they just sort of became something I would listen to more and more. They sort of became a bit of a security blanket, I guess.
No,
it's just something I used to turn my brain
The
off.
same thing actually happened to me. Like, I still listen to some of the old podcasts just for they just have a very interesting flow. Like, I don't even recognize them, I don't even recognize, like, the characters as myself anymore. Like, it's completely surreal, but I have a very similar relationship with something I'm on. Excellent. I've heard it enough times so that where it just becomes like a meditation almost.
Yeah, well, that's exactly how I use it. I mean, I used to use it to get to sleep. I used to use it to sort of calm myself, things like that, which I get is possibly a bit creepy. But I guess that was my question, whether you guys have something like that. I mean, obviously you've got games. I mean, we're all here because of that, and you've got the comic as well to sort of get those demons.
Yes,
out.
antidepressants.
Yeah.
Antidepressants are my antidepressant.
I think medicine.
But no, for me, I've really gotten back into guitar. I think I want that to be something that I am now. I want to be like a troubadour, man. I want to get that down. I want to make records, etc.
Excellent. You should. Yeah, we would.
I'm on it. You can put it right in the same playlist.
Done. Excellent. Thanks, guys. Thanks, man.
Thank you.
Buffering, can you hear me? Here we go.
Yeah.
I understand that Mike is staying in Australia after this.
We both. That was Jerry, yeah.
You are both spending time.
Yeah, we found that out recently.
Oh, great. I need to think of
We're both going to Sydney.
Yeah.
Oh, shut up.
Yes, I understand there's apparently a Melbourne-Sydney concern.
Oh, it's not just Melbourne and Sydney, it's everyone. It's a free-for-all. Slayer, 25 points. This is what I'm talking about. No.
Okay, I don't want to get in the middle of this. This is very dangerous. This is very dangerous.
Collateral, it's not healthy.
And I apologize.
No, you asked on the news post about places that you wanted to go, and it was going to be a question, but I'll just recommend them now. No, I'd actually recommend going to Western Plains Zoo in Dubbo, I think it is, and the Blue Mountains, which aren't actually in Sydney. The best things about Sydney are the places that are near Sydney, so it's kind of embarrassing.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. It was a question, sorry. You've attracted a lot of criticism.
What?
Let's say something.
Liar.
Some of it you may or may not have deserved. I won't mention any specific ones. Sorry. How do you handle that on a personal level? Because I mean, there's the public reaction. But,
Sure.
Like, that's gotta suck. Especially when you're blamed for things that it's more to do with the way that people translate what you're saying as opposed to what you actually mean.
Sure.
That absolutely sucks.
Yeah, I mean those things are put out into a public place, and people have a right to respond to things the way that feels natural to them. I would never say that a person was not justified in not liking me. I don't have an especially high opinion of myself. So when the dialogue turns that way, it's not anything that I haven't told myself before, generally speaking, right? I mean, that's more or less what makes you create things, is that you exist in a very strange place between imagining that you have what it takes in you to make something out of nothing, to create something, and then this other voice that always tells you it's not good enough. It's like the two poles of a battery almost. And I have to have both of those things, and then the result is something like this, or a comment, or a story. So when people tell me things like that I've already told myself, it isn't a surprise, but it definitely reinforces it. It's a very real experience, let me assure you.
Is there anywhere that, this is a selfish question, but I think everyone would like to know, is there anywhere specifically that people should keep an eye out for you in Sydney? Maybe, suburb, street name, hotel number?
You know what? I actually don't even know where I'm staying yet. Robert, like children, like baby birds, Robert plans everything out for us.
Okay, Mike and Jerry, this is where you're going to go.
Yes.
Okay, all right then.
I assume at some point he'll tell me the name of a hotel and I'll go there.
We'll keep an eye out for you.
Thank you.
I'm here representing Brisbane in Queensland, up north. And while you guys in New South Wales, you should ask the Sydney residents how they went in state of origin. It's a bit of Sydney.
I'm feeling such dark energy.
And you can tell there's a bit of civil war going on here.
Yeah.
So first a quick question. How do you guys feel about when you return to America? How do you feel about your chances of defeating your one-day selves?
I feel good. I've been trying to learn karate while I'm down here.
I've learned part of one karate.
Yeah.
Now, what exactly does it entail with a Monday self? Is it like a negaverse version of yourself?
Yeah, man, I think it's a separate version of yourself that goes on living after you fly to Australia. It has, it has its own hopes and dreams and experiences.
Yeah, the only difference is that it's covered entirely in black hair.
I think I've left a few Monday selves at some point.
It happens.
But yeah, so my actual question is relating to the concept story arc comics you guys do, things like Lookouts and Automator and
Sure.
Now, as much as I love all the humorous comics you guys do, those are some of my absolute favorite.
I'm so glad, because we always feel like we are being rude, right? We always feel like we're being rude taking Penny Arcade and then sort of like pushing these other aspirations in there.
Yeah, no, well,
So-
I think I love them just because in those short few comics you've done of them, you've created such rich, fertile ground for these immersive stories, and I'd really like to see, like, obviously I know it's not within your time constraints to do something on a full-time basis with it, but just seeing something come out of it is like,
Maybe eventually. I mean, I'm only 37. Like, I could probably do something else at some point.
And with all those projects, we're definitely working hard, like maybe behind the scenes, I guess, to get them out in other ways. I mean, there's a whole Lookouts comic book series that you can get on Comixology. I think there's 5 or 6.
There should be 6
I
now.
think there's 6 out right now. That's fantastic. You know, Automata has had a lot of content on Penny Arcade, but it's not necessarily always from us.
Right.
You know, Gary Whitta and Ben Caldwell did a really fantastic
And
series.
Automata, we also have we're also going to work on a treatment for Automata to see if someone wants to make a show of some kind.
Yeah,
you know
we're
what I mean?
trying to
Like,
pitch it
so
as a
those
show or
ideas,
a movie.
that's definitely something that we want to investigate. And then once we wrap up, so Sand is going to wrap up, and then in the remainder of this year, we're going to do an Automata story and a Lookout story. When I say Lookouts, I actually mean Daughters of the Airwood, right? So Lookouts is Thornwatch, Lookouts, and Daughters of the Airwood. Somehow they became 3 different stories. I don't know. Anyway, it happened. And then we're going to start doing those pitches. And we're going to start pitching ideas to you again next year. And I'm just really looking forward to that.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I really look forward to those story arcs. So yeah, keep up the good work.
Thank you.
Oh, it's totally you.
Oh, hey.
Yeah, hey, what's up, man?
Let's do it.
Just a heads up, I'm another one of those nice Australians, so I want to thank you for PAX. I want to thank you for like 10 plus years of podcasts, comics, TV series, web serials, all of that.
Our pleasure.
No worries. But my question is, you've watched video games kind of grow up as a medium, watched it evolve. What do you think is the next step, the next steps that video gaming needs to take to really become more than it is now?
Oh, as a child of the early 90s, I still want my virtual reality.
No, that's happening, man. That shit, like,
it's coming.
there. Like, that's, I think that we're just about there on that, actually.
Yeah, I'm ready for Snow Crash, like Lawnmower Man, all that stuff. Like, that's what I want.
Yeah, man.
No, I mean, my feeling on that is, like my feeling is in any artistic endeavor, we need more. And so the more suffix, should be applied to just about everything. We need more people from different walks of life making games, because that's where the stories and experiences are going to come from that define it the next time. People can communicate the real facts of their existence through a means that will let other people actually experience them. And I think that that's good for games, but I also think that that's a stage of evolution. So I'm very, very excited to see.
Yeah, me too.
Hey guys.
Hey.
So I've actually had one of your comic strips literally happen to me.
Okay. Which one?
The laser eye surgery one.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Yes, I moved during the surgery.
What does that mean for your eyes?
Well, they had to abort the procedure and they did a different type of laser eye surgery instead.
Hold on a second. Did like a red light go off? Like did it go wand, wand?
No klaxons, no sirens.
But you can see me now, right? I mean, like,
Yes.
Okay.
It's just that I just moved the extra high order aberrations than what I would have known if I didn't move. But I'm still very happy I did it. But the reason I moved, because I was like completely frightened.
Yeah, it's scary. They shoot a laser at your face.
That's
That was my experience.
Hey, not just at your face.
Yeah.
Like literally into your eyeball.
So that was my question to you: is how did you deal with your anxiety? Like
Drugs.
They gave me drugs. It was not enough.
Oh, no, I mean my own drugs at home. I self-medicated.
I think that was the trick. They gave me one tablet of Valium.
Oh, no, that's bullshit.
Nah, son, no.
That was how I started the evening.
Just as you prime and pump with it.
Yeah.
And you graduate. Sorry, okay, let's get weird.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hi, thank you. I like everyone here. It's really amazing. This is going to start off a little bit rambly, so I apologize. I'm trying to keep it short because I know there are a heap of people who have some other great questions. And there is a question coming up.
As long as you don't ramble about the rambling.
This has already turned into the director's commentary version of the question, where this is the part of the question we really...
Let's just jump into it. Let's jump into it.
Okay. So, a little bit of history.
Okay. Let him go. Just let him go.
A lot of people who have come to PAX, I'm so glad the other guy brought it up first, so that I wasn't the guy to bring it down. A lot of people here come from backgrounds that are a little bit darker and have interesting stories behind everything. Over the past 10 years now, I've lost 3 friends to suicide, and that's been a really big part of my life. Then a bunch of other things happened, and things got pretty dark for me as well. Penny Arcade, as the comic strip, was a really, really big part of my life for that. The podcast as well, and it's crazy to think that was 2005, that's 10 years ago. Now I feel really old. And so between the podcasts, the news posts, and you guys talking so honestly and openly and frankly about everything, not being afraid to sort of use, talking around the topic and using euphemisms, you just go straight for the balls of it. And then you guys talking about your own personal issues and how you started taking Lexapro and how that was a really big help for you. That was, I thought, really, really amazing, because since then I know 2 other people who, after reading about your experiences and positive experiences with Lexapro, they started taking it and they're fine now. And I really hope that that's stopped them from doing anything that might have happened otherwise. The other thing that really helped me back then was a little video game called Morrowind. To the point where I, after my second and final attempt myself, got it tattooed on my arm. Morrowind tattoo. I originally had a different question, but it's changed now that you're coming to Sydney. Because the other thing that you guys do is that you constantly talk about how you want to give back to people, and you're always talking about how you want to give to people, and the way that you can do it is through Penny Arcade.
Yeah.
You draw really, really well.
Great, thank you.
You write really well. We now find out that you also play music pretty damn well, and you do that whole thing. And so a lot of my life in the past 5 years has been me trying to figure out what I can do to help people, and what I can do to give out, and I can't draw and I can't all the rest of it. But what I do is I'm an astronomer. And so at a conference, an astronomy conference, I was together with a friend, we were talking, we were drinking, and all the rest of it. We said, well, what can we do? And we came up with this idea where we would literally just steal the telescope from the department, and then eventually just using my own telescopes from home, and we would just take them out randomly into the streets, set them up in the middle of the city, parks, wherever, and set them up.
Guerrilla astronomy?
Guerrilla astronomy, that's literally what it's called.
That's
guerrilla
great.
astronomy. We would grab people off the streets, didn't know who they were, said, hey look, there's Saturn. There's Saturn, that's awesome. And they'd be like, oh my fucking Saturn. There's rings around Saturn, and then those are moons, and it's all the rest of it. But I wanted to take it further, so we started to go into different places before we were going to like the safe places, where houses cost 6 figures. Then we started taking it into the nightclub areas, and we took it into the Northbridge area in Perth. I don't know if anyone's from Perth.
Some are.
Yeah. And we got homeless people off the streets, and we showed them, and we just wanted to show everyone the fantastic things that are up in the sky above us every day, and things that people might not get a chance to look at, and hopefully give them a reason to continue on doing things and to continue on, like give them something, whatever we can.
Sense of wonder.
Yeah, exactly.
This is incredible.
So my original question, which was really selfish enough from
Is who do you think would win if a pirate fought a ninja?
I was originally going to say, could you design a small tattoo so I can match the Morrowind one, since it was you and Morrowind that got me through everything. But now, screw that. If you guys are coming to Sydney, where I now live, I want to hold a Guerrilla Astronomy for you guys and for everyone else who's in Sydney who wants to come along to it. We'll have a couple of telescopes set up. I'll figure out where to do that. And you guys can just come, bring your kids or bring whoever. We'll show them the moon, we'll show them the planets, whatever you want to see. I'd really just like to give back to you guys for what...
I think my son and daughter would probably enjoy that.
Wow, yeah. Yeah, can you just send us an email and we can get in touch with you?
Absolutely.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
So what's going on with you?
Can you introduce me to the wonder of space?
Can you take me on a psychic journey?
Get in my car and we'll see what happens.
I believe you could.
Hi, I'm Cross from New Zealand. Some other Kiwis here. We're kind of like the Canada to Australia, so there's people even more polite.
Are you even nicer?
Yes.
That's hard to believe.
We actually find Australians to be uncomfortably aggressive. So maybe avoid visiting there. I'm afraid what might happen if you have any extended contact with our culture. But I mean,
It's a preserve.
you guys started Penny Arcade as just almost a hobby, and it's grown into this huge thing. And you wanted to give back, and so you started Child Brain. That's been a huge success. You got tired of the crappy games convention, so you started PAX, and that's been a huge success. And then you started Penny Arcade TV, Strip Search, and you're even making pins now. And all these things have become huge successes. Do you have ideas and you have to stop yourself because you go, there is no way that is ever going to succeed?
We don't stop ourselves. Robert stops us.
Physically and with blow darts if necessary.
Yeah, for every one of the ideas that you mentioned, there's probably a dozen that he shot down because they were ridiculous.
Yeah, it isn't just like every time we set a plate. I don't know if you have plates, but we have a game with the ball and you hit it. Sometimes the ball doesn't go very far, is what I'm trying to say.
So what would be one of the weirdest out there, would never succeed, but is entirely selfish as, I just really want to do this because I think it would be a fun idea?
We actually we made a couple comics about this idea we had for Olympus, which was like sort of a gaming nightclub. But apparently in Sydney there's a Mana bar that is sort of right, yeah, exactly, that fits that exact theme. I would love to go and see like someone who actually did my dream. Maybe it would be super dehumanizing. I don't know.
We also pitched a Penny Arcade theme park at one point.
Too dangerous.
That was really it. But thank you for coming across.
Thank you.
Our pleasure.
First, I'd like to point out that the Mana Bar is in Brisbane and Melbourne.
So it's not in Sydney?
No.
Holy shit.
Sydney is the major city on the East Coast that is not here.
I'll talk to him.
Second, you guys someone asked earlier about minorities and what other than gamers you might fall into.
Sure.
It occurs to me that people dealing with mental illness is definitely something that you can fall into.
Yeah, that's right. I do have serious mental problems that require medication. And if I don't take my pills,
I'm sicko. Yeah, that is great.
Thank you. I am Phil, you're right.
That's an umbrella term for depression and anxiety.
No, it's quite right. I mean, it's so like being that way is so way down in me. I don't even notice it. Like someone else had to tell me.
Well, I mean, I have depression, or have dealt with depression, and I think, you know, there are challenges you face. There's a stigma.
Yes, that's been my experience.
Yeah. Apart from the illness itself. Anyway, the actual question I wanted to ask was for Jerry. You guys mentioned China Mayville, an author, a few months ago. The book you did mention, I didn't like that much, but there's one that I really think that Jerry at least should read called Embassy Town.
That's where I should go?
I think I can sell you on the book. It's about language. The main character is a simile.
I feel a stirring. Okay. When I get back to the hotel room, I'll download it. It's called Embassy City?
Embassy Town.
Embassy Town. See, I would have gone to the wrong one. Embassy Town, that's probably a real book.
If I was more prepared, I'd give you a copy, but maybe
listen, it's all right. Listen, we both have mental illness. You're dealing with your own demons. That's fine.
Thank you.
Hi guys. So just first of all, with regards to the baseball things, we do have baseball here, but we've also got a gentleman's game called cricket.
It's not pronounced cricket? Okay. All right. What? I'm still learning. I'm learning from everyone.
I wanted to say first of all, there was a comic that I read very, very early on when I got started. A friend of mine who was even more introduced got me introduced to Penny Arcade back when I was in grade 11. I'm 25 now, so that's what, 9 years, maths. And
numbers.
There's this one particular comic, and it ends with the dialogue, "Some people play tennis. I eroded the human soul." True. And I feel like it's guided my career because I'm now doing a PhD in psychology.
Just a belt sander right on the psyche.
I want to have it on my tombstone, I think, when I die.
Wouldn't that look classy there in the marble?
Yes, and it's not. I mean, the point that I'm getting is I wish I could draw, because the drawing and this sort of stuff, and I would love to be able to draw into the sort of drawing that inspires.
It's amazing.
Yeah. It's fantastic. But, I mean, I'm a writer and I write poetry.
It's way better than writing.
It's not worth it. Just let it go.
I'm picking that up. But the question
How many of what you do is worth more than what I do?
Well, there's my ego gone, thanks. I'm just going to go fetal and cry.
Welcome to PAX.
The question I want to ask, though,
yes.
was I've travelled from Australia to New York once before, and for only 5 days that I was there for a conference. And the flight over, I had retrograde jet lag. I had jet lag on top of my jet lag.
Double jet lag?
Yeah, I had double jet lag.
You had jet lags?
Yeah. How many times on the flight over here did you want to murder every single person within about
Why do they keep coughing? I understand. It's like Typhoid Mary was sitting behind me. It drove me insane.
No, did you have a right child?
Did you have a feet? Oh, the feet? The feet were the worst. You guys want to hear about the feet? So the woman behind me decided to stick her feet up on, so they came up into my armrest. And to call these things feet is generous. You see feet like this sticking out from underneath a house. These are gnarled.
More like in the morgue, like there's a sheet covering the rest.
They were gross.
Yeah.
And so I gave her the look, right? Like, hey, with the feet, really? So she brought him down.
So no, she retracted.
She retracted her boobs. Okay? I'm trying to fall asleep. I don't sleep on planes, and so I'm nodding off. I'm getting into that state where you're like between being awake and being asleep. And so I'm like this, and I feel it. I feel it on my arm, and I'm like, why would the person next to me be touching me? And I look over, and he's asleep, and I'm like, he's not touching me! And I look down, and I see this infected, gnarled piece of driftwood just rubbing against my arm.
I'm playing a song on the violin.
Yeah, and I looked at her in a way that she knew I would kill her. And she never put her feet back up again. Like, I didn't even say anything. It was horrible.
It ends well.
I'm working in the school system. I'm a teacher assistant at a number of schools.
You guys geez, yeah.
So I was incredibly interested when Gabe posted about wanting to organise a PTA meeting or something to educate the parents at your school.
Yeah.
I noticed you mentioned that, but you hadn't followed up on that. I was wondering if you could...
Yeah, you know, I didn't come up with the idea until, that was actually the end of our school year there. It was, basically school was over. So I've got the summer to sort of plan it out. But I contacted the PTA and they're super interested in having me come and do that talk. I've got plenty of time to do it now, which means that I think it'll be something worth probably sharing on the site. So as soon as, you know, school starts up again in September for us, I'll probably have something to share.
And I think a talk would be good. I think that would be super powerful. But I also think that a curriculum.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be long. But I mean, I think there's a way to encapsulate that information and make it useful and available to parents. Absolutely.
Yeah, there's just a lot of parents that, you know, they didn't grow up with it, and so they don't understand it, or they don't care, or they think of it as a babysitter. And you know, gaming is incredible, but you have to be engaged with your kid. You have to know what they're playing, right? Yeah. So I hope that's something that we can start communicating to people.
Yeah, so if anything you can take that I can then take back and even if not myself distribute to other principals, maybe things like that. One other minor question for Tycho. What character would you think would be great in the next upcoming Smash Bros? Yeah.
Let's see, God, that roster's so big, and it has a lot of non-Nintendo characters. It's so deep, like I'm inside the character list now. I can see all the characters. Sam Fisher.
Think about that. Thank you very much.
Oh no, Raymond would be perfect. Never mind, go back to Raymond. Right, what's up?
Hi, I'm actually from Seattle.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, is anyone from Seattle?
All of the arcades.
But you're among friends.
Yeah, it's nice. I've been here for several years now. And I just wanted to say thank you for Strip Search, because watching it was really nice for me. Because I was
that.
Yeah, because it was perfect. It was gray, it was raining, it was cold.
It was optimal for you.
Yeah, that's what we love.
It was perfect. So my question is Washington-centric.
Sure.
So 3 of them. What's your favorite cafe in Seattle?
I like the dish. Oh, you just want to eat up this home, don't you? I can help you. I get the Slacker Especial, which is the egg. It's the scramble with the corn chips in it. It's got the sour cream and the salsa on top. Oh, no. And check this out. And they got the scone right on side, but it's not even really a scone, it's just a cinnamon cake. It's wrapped up in tin foil so it stays moist.
And a little more complicated, the recent legislation around legalizing marijuana in Washington State. I was going to say, are you guys going to have any plans around how you're going to market PAX and with the recent development?
I've actually heard about, what do they call green tourism?
Yes.
Yeah, we're very aware of that for PAX Prime. It'll be interesting.
It'll be like Hempfest and PAX.
Yeah.
I mean,
one mega convention.
You still can't just like walk around and smoke weed, but it'll be interesting.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much.
What's the legal situation with it down here? I have no idea.
It's illegal.
It's illegal?
It's super illegal.
Okay.
It's not super illegal.
It's pretty illegal.
You can have 1 pound on your person.
Sorry,